The Cheating Death Podcast is a comedy, random, and truth-seeking podcast containing information, subject matter, and language and course material that may not be suitable for all listeners. Your discretion in this matter is advised. It's a me and you podcast, not a red versus blue. And if you have any questions, email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we discuss how much of a piece of shit Ronald Reagan was. We provide you with an all-new Annihilation Announcement, a new joke of the episode, and a lot more. So without further ado, dear listeners, grab your favorite coffee, grab your blankets, put your feet up on your table, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Through the 1980s, it was widely speculated that Ronald Reagan was indeed a man of his word. If you ask most Republicans. To other people, Ronald Reagan was a divisive figure, a man in whom chose to ignore the AIDS crisis and make a lot of stupid decisions as it pertained to trickle-down economics that are still being felt to this day. The large amount of individuals within the United States of America who are suffering on a regular basis have absolutely no respect for Ronald Reagan, and I don't blame them at all. Because why in the hell would you want to respect a guy who basically told you that trickle-down economics are the way of the future, when it's quite obvious that there is no trickle-down. It remains at the top. But Ronald Reagan, he's dead now. And that's a good thing, because he sucked, and he was not a good man. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tage und guten Nacht ist deine Reisender, deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser, deine Cleric of Chaos. Today, we look into the man, the myth, the legendary piece of shit that was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, of course, being well known as an actor throughout the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, a very charismatic individual, a very charming man to most. However, the man hid some very deep, dark, devastating secrets that only few, even up until this day, know about. For as Nancy Reagan passed away, she took the remainder of the secrets with her to the grave. But here on this program, we are going to provide you with a little bit of insight as to who Ronald Reagan actually was. In a very succinct and blunt format, we hold absolutely no holds back, no moves restricted. Because in this particular program, ladies and gentlemen, it is my duty and my responsibility to inform you that throughout the 1980s, Ronald Reagan may have seemed like the perfect man to lead the United States of America, and there are still people to this day who strongly believe that Reagan is the best president to have ever lived. But, dear listener, understand that Ronald Reagan was one of the absolute worst human beings, not only in acting, not only in America, but on the planet. And here's why. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, when Ronald Reagan was an actor, he participated in a lot of actions and movements and restrictive tactics and techniques to keep people from being at his level. He played hardball with people in Hollywood, and he made the decision at numerous times to put himself on a pedestal above his co-stars, above his director, above his producers, and above anyone and everyone in between. Ronald Reagan during this time as an actor was a widely revered man because, back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, it was a lot simpler time. You didn't have access to a lot of solid, decent, and objective information as you do now. Absolutely not. No. So Ronald Reagan takes his ability as an actor and he caveats that and completely changes it into a political run. He makes the decision to not only run for the presidency, but also in many different offices before that. And understand that his impact and his negativity on the overall presidency of the United States of America and the administration for which he was responsible for, his administration was single-handedly responsible for the AIDS epidemic being as significant as it was, the fact that both he and Nancy Reagan chose not to assist on a federal level in any way, shape, or form, letting hundreds of thousands of people die. Hundreds of thousands of people die because they did not believe in assisting them. They believed that it was because of the homosexual madness. It was because of the evil that lurks within the brain of the homosexual man. Dear goodness, no, we couldn't give them any assistance, could we? No. Our trickle-down economics only work for those who are venture capitalists and are currently operating fucking Ponzi schemes. Is this something that makes sense? Absolutely fucking not. Ronald Reagan during the 1980s was more of a leviathan of lamentation than he was an individual who was capable of leading the fucking most powerful country on the goddamn planet at the time. No, absolutely fucking not. Ronald Reagan was a dirtbag, a piece of shit, an absolutely horrible human being. Fact is, and still remains, that he and his wife and the administration not only ignored the AIDS epidemic, not only made it so that the economy would favor the top 1% for the next 40 to 50 fucking years at minimum. No, he and his administration are also responsible for pulling the fucking wool over the Americans' eyes. The American public, the lovely people who got him into office. Would you be shocked to know that Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's, dementia, and several other cognitive issues during his presidency? Oh, dear listener, you would not be surprised at all to understand that the man could definitely read a script. He could charm the pants off you, but when it came to telling you what year, or what month, or what day it was, that motherfucker wasn't able to say shit. And it's widely speculated that during the time of his administration, the 1980s CIA involvement in drug smuggling and drug distribution in South Central Los Angeles, California, that essentially took a thriving and soon-to-grow community and turned it into shit. Me personally, I've lived on 807 Flower Street off and on between 2004 and 2014. And I'll tell you this, there were significant changes each and every single fucking time I would go for a walk down Skid Row. Every single time I would leave the Staples Center. Every single fucking time that I would go to grab myself a fucking food. It would just be absolutely insane. The amount of people who are suffering, the amount of people who are trying their fucking best and still are falling by the wayside in the most productive city in America. Los Angeles, California, the bright lights, the big city. But the absolute horror that you experience when you go for a walk down Skid Row. That has been prevalent for fucking decades. Was it an issue before Ronald Reagan took office? Yes, but was it as much of an issue? No. Ronald Reagan is a piece of shit. Period. End of conversation. There is no excuse for him ignoring the AIDS epidemic. There is no excuse for him allowing the CIA to destroy South Central Los Angeles, California, and many other American cities through the use of drug distribution. Ronald Reagan's presidential library, of course, includes none of these tidbits. Does not include anything about his quote-unquote attempts to help the AIDS epidemic, because he didn't try to help the AIDS epidemic. He tried to destroy a segment of the population because he felt they weren't American enough. He felt they weren't man enough. Ronald Reagan was an absolute monster. One of the worst presidents of all time. And the only people who view him as a good president are people who think that poor people do not deserve the right to food or shelter. What are your thoughts on Ronald Reagan? Let us know at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. At the top of the program, we promised you a list of our top 5 favorite winter sports. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Coming in at number 5, we have skiing. Coming in at number 4, we have snowball fights. Coming in at number 3, we have skating. Coming in at number 2, we have snowboarding. And coming in at number 1, having hot chocolate by the fire. What is your top 5 favorite activities? Feel free to email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. After I had plastic surgery on my eye and my nose, it was decided that I had to go attend group therapy. The first thing I thought is, wow, so many new faces. The very notion that Ronald Reagan was president for as long as he was is absolutely mind-blowing. Take into consideration what the 1980s were like and the overall end of the Red Scare. The Blue Dawn, as some would put it, was upon us. The United States of America had seized victory over its adversaries in the Soviet Union. For when the Berlin Wall fell, it was widely speculated that Ronald Reagan took pretty much all the credit. Ronald Reagan is a divisive figure in history, as well as a divisive president, one in whom was widely speculated and widely rumored to be propped up by his own administration. What are your thoughts on Ronald Reagan, dear listener? Thank you for listening today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nach dem Leben CRDVC, Chaos Run Records, and CR Deutschland. If you would like to reach out to the program, you may do so at twitter.com/weallcheatdeath, twitter.com/clericchaos, and linktr.ee/clericchaos. Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Follow all of our friends in the links in the episode's description. And if you'd like to support the program, please do so at the links in the episode's description as well. If you or anyone you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, have them call 1-800-273-8255 or dial 988 from their mobile phone in the US or Canada. If anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, have them call 1-800-799-7233. And if you are looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Remember, dear listener, no matter what world you find yourself in these days, whether it be a tumultuous one or a relaxing one, there are a litany of ways that you could figure out how to make life a little bit better for yourself. Remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.